I think you come to the Belgian to win it. Wabash always fight.
Hello and welcome to the Don Morel Show, your chance to hear the thoughts and comments of the head football coach of the Little Giant program. And Coach, we get a chance to talk after another good North Coast Athletic Conference victory, a 31-13 win over Ohio Wesleyan at home last Saturday. And this is an Ohio Wesleyan team that over the past 2 years, and we talked about it on last week's show, has been really strong defensively, so it was really important to try and get off to a good start, and that's exactly what you did with the early block punt that you then converted into a touchdown 3 plays later.
We did. I just think Ohio Wesleyan is well coached. They have good players on defense. Their plan has gotten better on offense, too. I think they're going to move up considerably in the conference when it's all said and done, but we will take that win and be happy and move on.
Again, a 31-13 victory. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from Saturday's win. And we mentioned you got the early block punt by Nick Fox so that Artie Akiwa recovered, and that led to this touchdown by Ike James, a 3-yard run. Part of his 123-yard day, Ike was named the North Coast Athletic Conference Football Offensive Athlete of the Week, and Ike also joined your other running back, Isaac Avant, as Ike became the 14th player in Wabash College history to rush for 2,000 yards or more in a career. Ike now on the list at 14 with 2,103. Isaac just a little ahead of him at 2,221 yards. What does that mean to have two 2,000-yard backs on a football team?
Well, really, I think it just gives us the depth to be a strong running football team. Isaac Avant is really coming back into health. So this is really, I would say this week's the week you're really going to see the guy back 100%, although he's battling a little head cold right now like everybody on our campus. But no, 2 great kids. They care about Wabash. They both love the game of football, and it makes my job easy to rotate those guys.
Mentioning Isaac Avant, he carried the ball 6 times for 38 yards, had another late touchdown run to kind of put the game out of reach. But he also led your team in receiving with 7 catches for 82 yards, had a couple of other plays that he could have made some catches, and he had probably the most interesting catch of the entire ball game, a ball that wasn't intended for him but went off the hands of one receiver, and he hauled it in for a big game. He's been a welcome addition in the receiving game and really seems to provide an additional weapon for Liam Thompson.
He does. He can create explosive plays just by touching the ball. So we need to be able to play him at running back and receiver both.
We mentioned Liam Thompson, the freshman quarterback, was 16 of 25 for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns, a touchdown pass to Nick Hammond and one to Ivan Martinez that we saw just a moment ago on the little tight end drag into the end zone. Lot more passing to Ivan Martinez on Saturday. Ivan caught 2 catches, or had 2 receptions for 8 yards. He was targeted a couple of other times. He's really become a key component in this passing game as well for you.
He has, and he's a guy you feel like he's been here 1,000 years, consistent, doesn't seem to ever drop a ball. And the teams we play, they don't face an attached tight end, so it's a different look than they get every week.
Defensively, Jeff Ramsey's group really put the clamps on what you mentioned already is a much improved Ohio Wesleyan offense, and kept them from scoring anything other than a couple of field goals until that long touchdown drive in the 3rd period. They have really just continued to get stronger and stronger. Nick Fox, we already mentioned, on special teams, also had a good game on Saturday. Brock Heffron really had a spectacular game, led your team in tackles with 7 on the day. You were also able to get some pressure on their quarterback. I mean, it really seemed like it was a defensive package really starting to come together all the way around on Saturday.
I think it is, and we have a challenge this week. Every week's going to be a challenge. As offenses continue to evolve, you're starting to see the same theme, a quarterback that can run around and move and keep plays alive. more and more teams willing to throw the ball 45 times a game in an effort to win it. We did have some lapses on defense. We've addressed those. We feel like we are far, far from having played a great game on defense, but we do see it coming. Those kids make strides every week.
Want to mention special teams because 2 years ago it was special teams that Ohio Wesleyan really won the game on special teams play. And Saturday, Jim Amadon, Steve Hoffman preparing for the broadcast, Steve provided his 3 keys to the game, and Jim added one additional one. He said, the special teams play is going to be very important because of how close these last 2 games between Ohio Wesleyan and Wabash have been. Really felt like you won the special teams battle all the way around. The kickoff coverage was good. The kickoffs were good. You were nearly perfect on field goals. You were perfect on extra points. And Joey Ane had another spectacular day punting, and then you got the block punt on one of Ohio Wesleyan's kicks.
We do spend considerable time in special teams. I think it's really, really important. That's not just lip service. And they did, other than Nyrig almost hitting the bounce house with the field goal, which he even laughed about. We are a good special teams football team.
Yeah, it's part of the joy of the fun of the bounce house. You may get a football every once in a while as a souvenir
sure.
to take home with you. Now you roll into a game against a 2-2 Wooster team that is probably much better than that 2-2 record. They won 2 home games to start the season. They've suffered 2 road losses, but those were 2 very close games, a 2-point loss at Wittenberg, and we know how good the Tigers are year in and year out. And then they actually had an early lead down at DePaul on Saturday and nearly came back to try and win that game, losing, I believe, final score of 31-26. So they have 2 losses by a combined 7 points, heading back home to take on your Little Giants on Saturday. What are the things that concern you about this Wooster football team?
Their defensive front, again, is huge inside. I think they're 320 and 310 at the 2 defensive tackles. Very solid play in there. They don't feel the need to do a lot of stunning or blitzing. They can play their base and control you. We're going to need to have success throwing the ball. We're not just going to be able to run it at them because they take that away. And then clearly on offense, the quarterback, Renteria, is a good player. We chased him around last year, and I think we're going to have to do it Saturday. He is a mobile guy, makes plays with his feet. And again, I think if they have to throw the ball 45 times to win the game, they'll do it.
They have been a traditional quick strike offense. We saw it 2 years ago when we went to Wooster. They threw to very speedy two-sport athlete for the Scots and Nick Strasbaugh, their starting outfielder for the baseball team. Also a very good wide receiver. Threw a quick pass over the top, got a touchdown on the first play from scrimmage in the game against Wabash 2 years ago there. He had another big play in that game. On Saturday down at DePaul, they threw a pass out to their backup tight end and got out to a quick 7-0 lead over DePaul on that play on the first play from scrimmage. So this is a team that really seems to want to try and attack and use their weapons on offense to the best of their ability.
They do. I think the other thing they do that's unique is they use the full length and width of the football field to attack you. The ball they threw to the tight end early, he ran a flat, which every tight end does, and then he turned it into a wheel, and DePaul was not ready for that. They always have a little wrinkle that can create a problem and can create 7 points if you're not careful.
You mentioned Renteria, sophomore quarterback. The amount of young, talented quarterbacks in this conference, it has really been amazing. We've already seen Dawkins from Denison, Ohio Wesleyan with a young quarterback last week, Renteria this week, obviously Liam Thompson for us. I mean, there is a lot of talent that fans are going to get a chance to see for the next 2 seasons out of all of these North Coast Athletic Conference teams, and Renteria has already proven last year that he's going to be one of the quarterbacks to watch in the league.
Really is the great equalizer. If your quarterback can move and keep a play alive, it creates problems on the coverage end. You can rush as many guys if you want, but if you can't tackle him and he gets loose, you're going to have a problem on the back end.
Renteria is among the passing leaders in the conference and also rushing for 28 yards a game. They've got a very versatile running back as well, and Thomas Bowman leads the team both in rushing yards at about 79 yards a game, but also leads the team in pass receptions. So he's a little bit of a dual threat that you have to keep an eye on if he slips out of the backfield as well.
I really like him. He does a lot of things well, but he can catch the football and make plays in space.
What are the most important keys? I mean, your team hasn't been on the road. We've talked about this weird schedule all season long. So now you've had 2 consecutive home games. Now you get to get the guys on the bus. Do you have an advantage because after today, no classes the rest of the week? You've got your football team pretty much all day Thursday, and Friday morning when you leave, you'll have a more relaxed trip over. You don't have to worry about guys missing classes. You can leave when you're ready to leave, take a little break. I know you'll go to Indianapolis and the team will have lunch over there before you continue your trip over. Does that make this a little more relaxed weekend where you can kind of, Thursday and Friday really get the focus on football?
I mean, I think for people that know Wabash college culture, the real break our kids get is they get to sleep in Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And if there's anything a Wabash student needs right now, it's some sleep. So that's the advantage. And then the time together as a team. They've got to use it wisely. They still got a bunch of schoolwork to get done over the next 5 days, getting ready for their return to class on Monday. But no, we're going to take advantage of it and have some fun too.
That game is at 1 o'clock over in Wooster, Ohio. The Little Giants traveling to take on the College of Wooster. We will not have that game on the radio for you. I'll be here at home, senior day for the Wabash soccer team as they get set to take on Allegheny. That'll be at 1 o'clock, and Wabash Swimming and Diving getting their season underway on Saturday with the Indiana Division III Invitational. That begins at 9:30 with diving and with the 1,000-yard swims. And then in the afternoon, beginning at 1 o'clock, the full program. So we invite you to come out to campus on Saturday and catch a little swimming and a little soccer action. But you can also keep an eye on the Little Giants because that game will be broadcast on the internet by the College of Wooster. Also, they'll have live stats, and all of those links are available on the Wabash College website. So, Coach, you get a weekend away from me this weekend, but then you'll be back next week, and we've got a big game to talk about with next week's show. But best of luck Saturday as you head over to Wooster to take on the Scots.
They're all big games.
That'll be again a 1 o'clock start, and we'll have the information for you on the Wabash College website. So we hope you'll join us on the internet or join us here on campus this Saturday for home events as well. Until then, you've been watching the Don Morel Show, your chance to hear the thoughts and comments of the head football coach of the Little Giant program. We'll talk to you next week.
I think you come to the Belgian to win it. Wabash always fight.